All right, hello everybody. It is holy shit, why does this keep happening to me? Come on. It keeps sliding back. Anyway, it's Halloween night, so that is why the lighting is so shit. But today I figured I would do a wrap up because I've got some time. I want to watch The Hills Have Eyes at 8, but it is 7:22 because so I'm just waiting. But so I figured I'd do a wrap up. This is books 111 through 115. I am so far behind on wrap ups that the one that I'm gonna do next I stack on my file cabinet, and then I just have them going toward me. I have room for like one more before they start running into me sitting here in front of my bookshelf. That's not counting the one that I'm gonna wrap up today, because that one was on top. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 stacks. That's 55 fucking books I have to wrap up that I am behind on. So I figured I'd take the time now when I had the chance. So 111 through 115. First up, I've got Deathcaster by Cinda Chima. This is the third book in the fourth, final book in the Shattered Realm series, which I do enjoy quite a bit. I'm not a huge fantasy person, but the Shattered Realm series has been one that I have really enjoyed. The series it's a spin-off series of the Seven Realms series, which I did read in high school. This one follows these characters who are all have this some sort of power to them that is like it comes through like a gem in like their throat, like the back of their neck or something like that. But this is the last book. And this one, honestly, the main thing I care about this series is Evan. I love Evan. But this series, it does have this thing where like we're fighting kind of the same battles that we were fighting in the Seven Realms series, except for also now there's this new queen from like the sea that she's like a witch or something like that. Again, I really read this series a lot for Evan, mostly Evan. It is a good series. It's got some really good side characters. Will say this series does also have some LGBT representation. Again, we're talking Evan. The third book is Evan's book, and so that one was my favorite. This one, if I'm remembering correctly, I actually was like, I wasn't as into this one as I could have been. It was fun, it was good, but it wasn't. Books 2 and 3 for me were really, really good. I really loved them. Book 1 was kind of meh. This one was also kind of meh for me. I mean, it was good. I think I gave it like 4 stars or something like that, but when it comes to the series as a whole, books 2 and 3 were amazing. Books 1 and 4 were less so. Then I read a horoscope book. I've only got one left, but I don't own it. I have the Aries one left because for some reason, even though it's based on the horoscopes, there are only 4 of these fucking books. But the one that I read was The Curse of Leo, which is number 3. Again, I've got Aries left. The first one was Taurus, then I read Gemini, and then I read Leo. Not gonna lie, I think the only one that has been really worth it was the Taurus one. This one, so it follows this guy who, it takes place in Africa, in South Africa, and it's a little racist. It follows this guy who like oversees like these African workers, and lately there have been like these lion attacks, and apparently it's like a were lion. And it's kind of racist. I mean, the main character is white. The main guy here. It's pretty easy to see what's coming. It's not very good. And like I said, I don't know why Taurus was so fun, because The Revenge of Taurus was just like amazingly fun. Like it wasn't good, but it was super fun. Like I really enjoyed reading it. This one was just kind of meh. And like I said, there's a lot in here that made somebody in 2020 go like, oh boy. Like, oh boy, you're going there. Like, granted, this is from, the 70s, 1974. If you want to read the horoscope books, which by the way, the only people who have actually read and rated the horoscope books are like myself and Grady Hendrix. So if you want to read them, maybe just skip everything but The Revenge of Taurus, because like The Revenge of Taurus, like I said, was at least fun. Like that one was just wild. It was just like, oh my god, like there was like a swimming pool full of acid in that one, and that was fucking sick as hell. But this one was just like kind of racist and weird. I don't know. It wasn't that good. I think I gave it like 3 stars. It was vaguely fun sometimes, but it wasn't super good. Then I read a book that I actually enjoyed quite a bit. That is Full Tilt by Neal Shusterman. I actually, if you didn't know, I'm teaching now. And apparently the fourth or fifth, fifth grade. He's fifth grade teacher. Reads this one to his students because my seventh graders I have right now talk about it a lot and they really enjoyed it. But this book is about this kid whose younger brother is just kind of off the rails. He's a problem kid. He's their parents. His mom is looking to get remarried and the younger brother's not taking it well. The older brother, who is our main character, is a little bit more he's more reserved. I think he's more, cowardly. He's responsible. But so one day the older brother gets an invitation to this carnival and he's like, no, like he's not going to go sneak out and go to a carnival because he's the responsible one. And his younger brother decides to take it and run with it. And so he has to go back and get his brother. And this carnival is a carnival that preys on your fears and all the rides are like really kind of made for you. It's so good, man. Like I opened this book and immediately I was hit with just that book smell, and I knew that I was going to love it from the very first line that I read. The very first line of the book is, by the way, it began the night we died on the kamikaze. I also knew I was going to love it because I annotated. I don't annotate very much. Sometimes I'll do, sometimes if I'm bored I'll do it, sometimes if I'm just feeling it. This one, I know that when I'm just feeling it, I know I'm gonna love a book. And this one, I was just feeling it. Like, I loved all of the rides. It's Neal Shusterman, he can do body horror because he did such a great job of it in Unwind. But it was just, the way that he wrote this book, like, it just kind of stuck to my soul. And it was, like, a little bit didactic at times. Like, I get it. Like, it is a little bit, it's a little bit overspoken at times, but I really enjoyed it. I really thought it was a really fun one, and I just there's just so much in here that like I said, it's a younger young adult, honestly. This guy was reading it to his fifth graders, but it's very much, I don't know, it has a lot of soul to it, and I don't know how to explain sometimes when I really connect with writing and connect with a story, but this was one of them, and I really, really like that about it. I don't know, this is one that I'm sure is going to end up on my favorites of the year list. Like, it was honestly just, if you can hear the wind, it's real fucking windy right now. Like, wind advisory, we got like gusts up to 50 or something like that. Very windy outside right now. That's what that is. But I wouldn't be surprised if I know that some places have gotten like power lines knocked down kind of shit, but I enjoyed this one a lot. Like, it was honestly just like, it got me right in the heart and it didn't let go. And even just talking about it now and thinking about it, I'm like getting choked up a little bit. Like, there was a lot. I enjoyed it. I loved it a lot. I give it 5 out of 5 stars. Like I said, I recognize that it has some flaws, but honestly, they did not matter to me at all. I loved it so much. So, after that, I read another book that I enjoyed quite a bit. That is Night Film by Marisha Pessl. I'm a bit late on this one. It was pretty popular when it first came out. But this is the story of this like investigative journalist who was shamed after he tried to do this dig in deep article about this horror director. And now this horror director's daughter shows up dead. And so this guy kind of pairs up with a couple more people and they end up trying to track down what really happened to this guy's daughter. Maybe it's just how I read this book, but I read this book like, I remember on my days off, sitting out on the balcony with like a glass of like Moscato and Sprite and just reading in the heat and the sun. I loved it. Like, I really, really enjoyed it. There's one scene in particular that I just keep remembering about this book, where the main character is going through these horror movie sets, and just that scene, that part, it's a decent chunk of book because it goes through a lot of horror movie sets. That part of the book is just so cool to me, and it was just done so well. I'm just like, it's one of those parts that I'm gonna like remember forever, But I enjoyed it. I really liked some of the side characters. What was his name? Hopper? Was his name Hopper? I loved him. That kid, the punk kid. Oh man, what was his name? Nora was the girl. Who was the guy? I'm pretty sure it was Hopper. He was so cool. He was fantastic. Come on, I will find you. Hopper. Yep, Hopper was the guy. I loved him a lot. I will say that also, like, this book came out when this was kind of a big deal, but it's got a lot of pictures in it, a lot of like old like like websites, and that's pretty cool too. I enjoyed it a lot. I know this got a lot of hype when it came out in like 2011 or something like that. It deserved it. It's a fun thriller. I think I gave this one 5 out of 5 too. Then we had a Stephen King reread, and that is Thinner. I know that there is a big kind of thing in the room with the fact that this deals with like gypsy curses, but basically this book is about this overweight lawyer who accidentally runs down an old woman because his wife is giving him a hand job in the car while he's driving, and then his connections make it possible for him to get off with like no charges. They put all the blame on the dead woman because she was crossing the road at the wrong, just darted out between two cars. And so as he's leaving, the old woman's father comes out and like touches him on the cheek and says, "Thinner," and puts a curse on him. So this guy now is losing weight and losing weight and losing weight and losing weight, and so he has to go and chase down this old man and try and get him to take the curse off. Like I said, this is there is that unfortunate matter that this deals a lot with curses made by a group of people who are not really seen as anything other than their stereotype. There's that. It's a really fun book. I mean, I love the Bachman books in general. This is honestly one of my favorites. I mean, obviously The Long Walk is my favorite. This one is probably, I don't know, Rage might beat it out, actually. Rage is really good. But this one's it's just fun, man. Like, it is just so much fun watching this guy like losing weight, trying to find these people. It's like just frantic about this, and there's so many super fun side characters, like that guy who he's got like connections to like the mob, and the mob guy that he knows is just so fun. The movie also is a fantastic time. The movie is hilarious. It is so much fun. Like, this is a story that this is the pulpiest that Stephen King has ever gone. Like, this is just straight up pulp horror. Like, I would not be surprised if this was published under like who's the guy who wrote Halloween? That book. If this is published under his name, because it is like legitimately pulpy. Like, it's not poorly written because it's Stephen King, but it's still it's just so much fun. And like I said, I know that it's got that major glaring issue, but this book, again, did come out in like the 70s, 80s, maybe, 1984. And when we come to older books like that, sometimes you just got to give them a little bit of leeway, you know? So yeah, and so there's that. But I mean, it was a reread. This was like my third Stephen King book. It was a reread. I love it. It's a fun one. It's one of my favorites. And that's all I really have to say on the matter. 5 out of 5 stars. It's a fun tale. This very horror saturated stack here. Books 111 through 115. That is all I have for today. I will talk to you later. And